At some point in time, most of us have faced a bully. Some stood up to them, others may have cowered. But no matter how it played out, bullying remains a serious issue that continues to impact young people at all levels of society. Today, we're shining a light on the challenges faced by children and teens who are being bullied and how we as a community can respond. Joining us to explore the issue is Jemia Pratt-Rahming. She is the president of the Bahamas Association of School Counselors. And for the last 19 years, she's been working with students from level K up to the 12th grade. Welcome to What's Trending, Jemia.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you here with us. So tell us, to start things off, how would you define bullying for our viewers, and what exactly does it look like in schools today?
Well, bullying is any unwanted behavior that is intended to purposely harm, embarrass, or even to exclude someone. And it involves an imbalance of power. We see instances of persons who are experiencing bullying based on their school performance. We see sometimes students would be less interested in attending school. Their grades may fall. Oftentimes from the home side, parents may see students exhibiting, or their children exhibiting, nightmares. They have trouble sleeping. They don't want to engage in social events like they would have before. They may start to avoid friends that were once close in their circle. Oftentimes, we also see for some students, they have harming thoughts. For students who are displaying bullying, oftentimes they may have unexplainable amounts of money or belongings, possessions that they can't explain where they got it from. They may often hang out with others who exhibit bullying behavior. We also notice for persons who are exhibiting bullying, they tend to value competition. Everything is about competing, and they're overly concerned about their social status.
And I imagine there are also different types of bullying as well.
Yes, so when we are talking about bullying can take three forms. We have physical bullying, where persons are physically hurt or harm someone's body. Even their possessions is also considered physical. We have verbal bullying, so that's words. And then we have social or relational bullying, where persons are excluded, or their identity or their sense of self is threatened based on their relationships.
Now, you talked about the signs of persons that are being bullying, but how prevalent is this in schools? Is this something, generally speaking, that we need to be concerned about, or just, monitor what's happening when it comes to students or just a parent and their child?
Well, when we look at the schools are just microcosms of our large society. So what you see going on in the large society, it trickles down to the school. Think of the school as a work environment where you have a person that's the boss or the person of authority, and then you have persons that are in the school who would be the students. There's co-workers. So it's just a mini environment of what's going on in the big world. So if you see that violence is trending in society, sometimes there's an uptick in school. So we want to be careful, because we tend to think that bullying only happens for children, but bullying happens at all levels. Persons who have any social relationship across their lives can experience bullying no matter which age you are, because peer pressure doesn't stop when you leave primary school. We all have peers. So we have to keep in mind that oftentimes what our children are seeing at home, they're going to come back to school and they're going to exhibit that same behavior. So whatever is modeled in the community is going to be displayed in school.
And so then what are some of the effective, proven solutions that will address bullying and prevent its long-term harm? Because we know that there are long-term implications for it.
From the counseling perspective, we try to encourage our students to do a number of different things in order to combat bullying. So one of the things that we encourage them to do is to practice positive problem solving. We called it problem solving when we were in school, but we now called it positive
Positive problem solving, some adjustments you made there. What is the objective of what you do now?
The objective of what we do is to ensure that they are able to make decisions, positive conflict resolution decisions. So we're teaching them problem-solving skills. We're teaching them decision-making. We're teaching them conflict resolution. So we want to teach them how to take all of these skills and together make a plan for bullying. So one thing that we do encourage them to do is to ignore. That's the first step in trying to overcome bullying. You have to first see if you can ignore the behavior, because we have to teach people how we want to be treated. If someone is treating you in a way that is not comfortable or that you don't like, you have a conversation with them. Listen, I'm not used to this. I'm not okay with this. So I need you to stop. So if ignoring it and then having the conversation doesn't help, then we want the students, we encourage them to get an adult involved, a responsible adult, someone that can be an advocate, not someone that's going to come in and lord over the situation, as unbiased as possible. And even in terms of the type of bullying that may be happening, whether it's physical, verbal, or social bullying, it can happen face-to-face, meaning that we can be here having a conversation and then it turns into a quarrel and we start rowing, and it can be physical, or it can be cyberbullying. So cyberbullying isn't something different. It's just the medium has changed. It's gone from us being face-to-face to now we're using our devices.
So then how soon should a parent or teacher, administrator intervene if they suspect that someone is being bullied, or, you know?
Immediately, because if you can see that as an adult that there is an imbalance of power and there's some bullying going on, the other children have already seen it as well, and maybe that person, the person that's being receiving the behavior, doesn't know how to speak out or isn't sure what they should do. Sometimes we have children in new environments and they're not sure what the culture is, so they'll sit back and think, oh, this is whatever happens to everyone. So as an adult, if you see it happening right away, you deal with it. And that's not to punish, but to bring the two together and have a conversation. What's going on here? Why is this behavior? And with bullying, we want to try not to call names as adults. We don't want to label the child as a bully or label the child as a victim. We want to look at the behavior and target the behavior, the person exhibiting bullying behavior, the person receiving bullying behavior, simply because once you put a label on someone, it's kind of hard for them to shake that off. So we even want to be intentional in the language that we use.
So then, following up on that, you talked about the environment. So then how can schools create a culture of empathy and inclusion that discourages bullying even before it begins, seeing that we are going into the start of a new school year?
It's very important that schools and administrators and teachers be mindful of the interactions of the staff, what the children are seeing, and also be mindful of the fact that from day one, you let children know this is a safe space. We won't tolerate persons being made fun of, taken advantage of. We want to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to have their voice heard. Oftentimes, especially last school year, the Peace Begin With Me campaign by the Character Day Foundation was something that most schools did in October. And that focused on bullying, that talked about being peaceful, that talked about conflict resolution. So every year, the schools focus on a conflict resolution clinic of some sort. So it's encouraged that schools have a plan. Let the children know that this is what we expect, this is what your behavior should look like, this is what we want our school to be, a family. We want everyone to feel wanted, welcome, and encouraged.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Pratt-Rahming, for joining us on What's Trending today. We hope that the insight and the advice you shared with us today not only helps children and encourages them to speak up, but it also inspires communities to take responsibility and bullying seriously, and let us all help to put an end to it. So thank you so much for your words of insight today. Well, stay with us. There is more What's Trending when we return.